I'm happy to welcome you back from your Thanksgiving celebration and welcome those who are visiting us during this beautiful occasion. I don't know how you managed it, but I find myself at my parents' house for Thanksgiving dinner, and I kept on eating and eating and eating. Then comes the dessert, and I couldn't stop. And then I finally figured out, I can't just quit cold turkey. And then at the end of it, I find that, both the turkey and I are stuffed. And then I went to sleep and woke up the next morning on Friday morning and realized, no, Christmas is right around the corner. How many of you felt Christmas is coming way too fast this year? Yeah, I am telling you, right? You are going to get ready to bring out your Christmas decoration, dust them up, put them up, and by the time you're done, start shopping, grabbing the gifts. Christmas is already here. And then before we know it, we try so hard to make everybody happy in beautiful Christmas celebration. And after Christmas we're done, we're burned out. And then when the when the credit card bill comes, you started feeling blue. And that's why the church is very wise today to make us turn purple. We enter into the very first day of Advent, a beautiful season for us to take the time to go spiritual shopping, spiritual decoration before the celebration of the coming of Christ. Friends, the word Advent comes from a Latin word, adventus, which means the arrival, the coming. So Advent, for the next 24 days, is when we as a church enter into a beautiful, spiritual, life-changing period of anticipation, of hopeful, faith-filled waiting. Waiting in the celebration of Christmas for the coming of the Lord that has already happened 2,000 years ago. He is here, present with us, waiting, inviting Him to become ever more present into our life, and waiting, remember who we are, waiting for the day when He will come again, this time not as a child in Bethlehem, but as the Son of Man in glory, to bring the whole world to Himself. I want you to think of the people of Israel defeated, and they were suffering. And for a long time, they were waiting for the anointed king, the Messiah, to come and free and liberate them. And today, imagine those people hearing the prophecy of Jeremiah for the very first time. I'm coming. I'm fulfilling my promise to you, my people. They was overwhelmed with joy and anticipation. Imagine, in the midst of our struggle, in the midst of the evil that we deal with, the addiction, the thing that the temptation that many times seems so overwhelming, the wounds that breaks and divides us, Jesus said, I am coming and I'm going to fulfill my promise in your life. And so that waiting is very powerful. Children, how many of you maybe remember the time when you're waiting for the day when your parents finally took you to Disney World? Was the waiting make you happy and excited, right? And you're like, wow, I better behave, right? I don't want my parents to take that away from me. It makes you happy and excited. Think of the time for you who are married. Many times I'm standing here. When that door opened up in the room, you're standing here and your wife is walking in her beautiful dress. And your heart is pumping like a drum. You almost pass out, you know? That joy of waiting. And that's what Advent is about. And Jesus said this. He reminds us that He will come. He said, there will be sign in the sun and the moon and the star, and all nation is in dismay. People perplexed by the roaring of the seas and the waves. People will die of fright in anticipation of the coming upon the world. There will be suffering. There will be struggle in this life. And the powers of heaven will be shaken. And Jesus said, but when these signs begin to happen, stand erect and raise your heads. Why? Because your redemption is at hand. Jesus is coming, knocking on our doors. And so in Advent, we prepare for that. Jesus gave us instruction. How do we prepare for that during this time? He said, be aware that your hearts do not become drowsy from carousing and drunkenness of the anxieties of daily life, of the busyness of the holiday without having God in it. Be vigilant at all times and pray. So I want to invite you to do what I did yesterday. I want to invite you all to please step back, take a moment individually or as a family. Sit down and pray. Ask the Holy Spirit. I promise you, the Holy Spirit will move you. Ask the Holy Spirit, how do you want us to prepare for Christ's coming during this time of waiting, of Advent waiting? Come up with a list with a few things. I did 3 things that you'll be doing during this time, every day or every week. I propose, first of all, most important, set time for prayer. Family, I propose, many families, what they do is they create a prayer center or room, and then maybe do the Advent. We have the Advent candle, and each week, when you pray, light the candle. It reminds us that we are journeying 4 weeks toward Christmas. The light reminds us that Christ is coming more and more each week into the darkness of our life. Make time each day, make space for prayer. Be consistent. For the next 24 days, if you commit to that, I promise you, that alone can make a huge difference in your home, in your life. That's just simply how our God works. When we open the door just a little bit, He comes rushing in. I would encourage you, for the next 24 days, unplug so that we can plug in with God and with other people around us. Really, at home, made a commitment. Some family made a commitment to, during the next 24 days, we're only going to watch spiritual movies. You know, if you belong to St. Faustina Church, we have formed, MORMED.org. It's like a free Catholic Netflix with a lot of amazing, inspiring movies and Advent daily reflection. Please go into our website, prescribe to it, and pray that together at your home. Watch these inspiring movies that help us to grow in our faith, to grow in this prayerful anticipation. Pray about how do you grow in charity. It's a time of giving. Maybe perhaps instead of getting a gift individually, you want to maybe what can we do together as a family? What is a gift for us together that we can share? Who do we want to share our generosity with during this beautiful time? So pray, what are some things that you want to commit to for the next 24 days? Friend, I remember as I reflect on this waiting this morning, I remember when COVID happened, and it was heartbreaking when we had to shut down the church, and we started doing Mass online. And the day came when we finally given permission to reopen the church. Wow! I mean, my heart, I haven't seen the community for a long time. My heart was pumping. I was standing in the front, waiting, greeting, with the mask on, of course. And you know, I remember this. The first people that came back and showed up were the more vulnerable people. Our elderly, wise parents, grandparents, who've gone to Mass all their life, and they can't wait to come back. And when people start coming back, you literally see tears streaming down their eyes because of the joy of experiencing God in the Eucharist. So, brothers and sisters, let us take this Advent prayerful waiting period in such a way that when Christmas comes, we experience that joy of God's coming into our lives.